Thanks for logging on to Wayne.com for another edition of Inside the Zone. He's Blake Sebring. He's laughing because he just said before we got on camera, I don't really want to talk about this weekend. But that's what we're here to do. Talk about the Comets. 3 games last week. Relatively forgettable games, although you do pick up 2 points thanks to the shootout losses.
I know, it's like they went 1-1, but they lost ground.
Yeah, 2 points now behind the Icemen with only 6 games to play. Really had a prime opportunity with a Friday and a Saturday game at the Coliseum. But they started off the week in Dayton. Not the way you wanted to start off the week. You're a big proponent.
Did somebody say a trap game?
You said trap game. And I know that you're big on the first period or the first few shifts. Man, they got out to a 4-zip deficit and couldn't make it all the way up.
Oh, but you could see it coming. I mean, you could really see it coming. That was what was the worst thing about it, is you knew they'd be looking ahead, or they just weren't prepared to play on a Tuesday night. And even though they stopped at Tim Hortons on the way, and
Ooh,
it just
good coffee, good donuts.
Great. That's like the best coffee. Anyway. But you could kind of see it coming. I mean, they just didn't have their heads into it, and it cost them. I mean, you say Dayton's got nothing to play for. Well, Brian Gratz is always going to have his team playing hard. I mean, that's Gratzy. He just does that. He gets the best out of them. They may not have a lot there, but boy, you're going to earn whatever you get off of them.
And a little extra to get the Fort Wayne juices flowing for Brian Gratz down there at Dayton, being a Fort Wayne guy.
It doesn't matter. I mean, for Brian, it's like, you're playing us, we're playing hard, you're going to have to figure out how to take it from us,
And figuring out the Iceman was the next big question mark for the Comets.
Boy, that started off good too, huh?
It wasn't exactly the way you'd want to draw it up, giving up those 3 early goals
Especially
on Friday
they're
night.
coming in on a 5-game losing streak. They lost Brian Bisick, their leading goal scorer, the day before to a broken collarbone, and they should have had their chins in their chests, and the Comets should have been flying high, but boy, you couldn't tell it from the first period.
Yeah, and really this should have been as healthy as the Comets have been in a while. Brett Smith back on the ice.
And looking good.
Nick Boucher had an illness earlier in the week, so he didn't play. Festa was in goal earlier in the week. So, this is about as healthy as at this point in the season as the Comets would have been. And they did. They kind of laid an egg early.
That's one word for it, yeah. But, I mean, they were terrible. I mean, and, yeah, Nick missed the first shot. I think he'd say that. And but it's like the defense. What are they doing? I mean, Jamie Lovell passes the puck right to the Dayton guy for the shot, and then Jamie Milan gets caught a couple times. And I mean, there was the third goal was a breakaway from center ice when everybody was there. I mean, and the guy just everybody's on this side of the ice, and he just kind of like woo doo 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 doo. Let me shift here. Let me try this. Okay, here I'm going to put it over Nick.
Is doo 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 the technical term
that is
Al
a
Sims
technical
probably
term?
Used in
Yeah, I'm sure he called it doo doo, but I don't know if he used it in that fashion.
This is true.
Yeah.
But do you take any solace in the fact that, they're down 4-zip to the Gems, but they come back and they make it a 4-3 game, and then on in Evansville Friday nights in the Evansville game, they're down 3-zip early, and they come out and make it a shootout. They get a point when they're down 3-zip.
No, I'm sorry. You have 6 games left in the regular season right now. Playoffs are 3 weeks off. You should be tightening up all this stuff now. You should be peaking right now. This stuff shouldn't be a factor right now. You should be ready to go. You should have all this figured out. And like I wrote in today's column, it's like the Comets are still trying to figure out who and what they are. I mean, what kind of a team are they? Are they going to bank on this, or are they going to bank on that? The one thing they've been able to bank on all year is that they didn't give up third period leads, and then they did that. I mean, what is it that the Comets, what is their identity right now? And they're still trying to figure it out. And this is the wrong time to be trying to figure that out.
I think the word that you use most frequently in the article would be sometimes.
Right, because sometimes they do this, sometimes they do that, sometimes they consider doing this, but you never know what sometimes it's going to be. You never know which team is showing up. I mean, with this many veteran leaders and this coach who's been through everything, and these kids, the kids are the most consistent part of the team. I mean, who's been the most consistent effort every night? It's been Schrocky, Risk, Thorne. It's been Henley, and who's not a kid, but you've got Bryant Molly's out there. He's been one of the most consistent guys from day one. It's been the kids. You've got Tom Mealy. You know what you're getting from Tommy every night. Some of the veterans, you don't know where they're at, if they're showing up or not. I mean, And it can be period to period too. But the kids are there every shift.
To that point, though, Colin Chalk with a nice week. He got at least a point in every single game. So, if you're an older guy,
I guarantee you, Colin would say he didn't have a good week.
Well, that's Colin Chalk being a leader.
But it's true, and he'll believe it too. It's not just smoke.
But going forward now with 2 weeks to play and 2 points behind Evansville, how does Colin, and you mentioned the young guys are giving that consistent effort, how do the older guys get back to the level where they lead the team? Because you can't just turn, we've seen it in the past where they flip the switch in the playoffs, but you'd rather that switch flip
I'm not sure you
weeks heading into the playoffs.
I'm not sure you can count on that right now either, because you can't get to the playoffs and turn it on with this team because you have so many young kids who've never been there before. We have no idea how they're going to react. The one encouraging thing is that they have been the most consistent by far. That is a very encouraging thing. So they may be less affected than usual, but you don't know until you get there and you go through it. Now, the veterans, they got to find it within themselves. I mean, that's all there is to it. Leo, I thought, had a much better Saturday night. He was Leo. You know, I thought Tuesday night he was pretty good. He was Leo. You know, Friday night that didn't work. You know, these guys got to figure out this is where their time to shine is. The kids shouldn't be leading right here. The kids should be following.